and you can get
Thank-
started. You have 10 minutes.
Thanks so much. I really enjoyed this documentary. Thank you both for making it. So tell me a little bit about the decision to make this film.
Sure. The decision to make this film came from the basically my friends at NBC News Studios asked me about 5 years ago to start digging through their archives, looking for stories that might make good jumping off points
Okay.
for docs. I worked for NBC for a long time. I immediately gravitated to that stranger than fiction historic story of Dr.
Sure.
Money and David Reimer that's in the middle of the film, and was looking for kind of obviously it has relevance to the modern day with our expanding understanding of gender, and that kind of led me to looking into the intersex rights movement. And pretty early, some mutual friends at NBC, where Tommy also worked for many years, were like, you got to talk to Tommy Nguyen, who has been really eager to tell the story of intersex rights
Yeah.
for quite some time. So that's kind of how we connected.
Did either of you, I mean, some of the statistics in the documentary are amazing. Did either of you know the statistics about how many intersex people there actually are?
I was aware of it
Yeah.
doing my research back in the day, and it was really important that we put it up front, I think, in the film. Um, and I just knew that from my own reporting on trans kids that this was going to be sort of the next frontier of the sort of rights movement in the
Sure.
community. And I was eager to tell her. Thank God Julie came along with her clout, was able to get it off the ground. I had a valiant effort for many years trying to do it, but this is great that all the patience was worth it.
Yeah. Early on, there's discussion about the fact that there is such a lack of representation about intersex people, and a lot of people aren't really familiar. Why do you think there is such a lack of representation?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people are maybe wary of the complexity of the story. There also, until relatively recently, there's been a fairly small population of intersex people willing to talk openly about their life stories. That is changing dramatically and rapidly now, and which is a great thing, but just which makes making a film like this possible.
Yeah. How difficult is it for someone who identifies as intersex to come out to others, to their family, to colleagues, to the world?
I would imagine very difficult, but a lot of times, for many years, they don't even know themselves. They piece
Exactly.
together, yeah, they piece together their story by themselves. There was a great moment where all three of our characters sort of had to rely on themselves to find out what intersex meant. And just that's such a sad story to be so alone trying to discover who you are. Thank God there are more resources, more places to go on the internet to find out more. And obviously this movie will do much more than that, you know.
Exactly. I have to admit, I was not aware of the story of Dr. Money, and that just sent chills down my spine. That is such a horrific story. Did you two know much about that story?
Well, I actually had seen the story back in 1999 when NBC first did it, and had read up on it a bit. So I was aware of it. What I didn't understand was how the impact that that case had on all of these other people that followed, and how many intersex kids had surgeries that were kind of justified by Dr. Money's uh, incorrectly or falsely reported case.
Sure.
Yeah, I knew Dr. Money too, and I came to Dateline a little bit later, so I didn't watch that Dateline piece when it first came out. But that question that Keith says towards the end of our movie, that just really opened up the whole, I think, Julie's inquiry into this topic.
Yeah.
Had I seen that, maybe I would have used this this episode as well. But it's just what great foresight that Keith and the producer of that piece had in asking that question, and which opened up the entire story for us.
The subjects of the film, how did you go about finding the subjects?
So, again, the magic of the internet. I mean, these, young activists on all kinds of different issues, like social media and the internet is where they communicate, where they gather. I was just Googling intersex activists. This was like in 2020. Alicia at that point was just all over the place, like so
Yeah.
many videos of her spreading her message. And honestly, the fact that she's was in Texas really added a good twist, I think, for us. I mean, a state that probably more than any other. I mean, you in Georgia are perhaps close to dying in certain ways, but a state that is kind of known for some, how should I say it, like regressive attitudes towards gender might be my might be my shorthand for that. And yet here you have one of the proudest and strongest advocates for intersex rights. Like, it's just a pretty great combination. So I called her up. She introduced us to Sypha. River showed up at one of the early events on a day that we were already filming, and it all just came together really nicely.
That's great. I am so impressed by the fact that this film is being distributed by Focus Features and it will be in theaters. How important is it, for film like this to get out in theaters and for people to see this and hear this message?
Well, this is my first feature-length film, so I'll let
Okay.
Julie really add into this. But for me, it's an exciting moment. I can't believe that it all came into. I mean, there were some times where I thought I would never do an intersex story, and so not only am I part of something as big as this, but as good as this, it's just a dream come true.
That's great. The film is everybody. It is extraordinary. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Julie, for making the film. Thanks for sharing it. I cannot wait for audiences to see this.
Neither can we.
Thanks so much. Y'all have a great day. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.